Good afternoon. Welcome to the Broadcast Center at CA World 2013. My name is Al Perlman. I'm with TechTarget, and I'm going to be your host for this afternoon's activities. And the activities this afternoon will consist of a series of high-level interviews with senior-level executives that we hope will be informative and interesting and fun and provocative. At TechTarget, one of my roles is to supervise and to write a lot of the case studies and the white papers and the research that you'll see on our various sites. And one of the things that happens is every time we sit down to write one of these things, we realize that we can almost start them the same way. And the way we can start them is that we're at a time in the IT industry of great transition and transformation. And what's happening is we're at that inflection point between one paradigm and the next paradigm is consistently being defined as social media, big data, mobility, and what's the fourth one? DevOps. And the defining characteristics of this new paradigm are speed. You know, I talk to anybody in doing any part of IT infrastructure today. If I talk to storage providers, they're talking about flash and what are we going to do next. I talk to database providers, and they're talking about acceleration and doing more transactions and all of those things. And you have speed, you have agility, you have scalability, you have flexibility, you have all of these things that are defining where IT is going. And if you're not with it, you're not moving forward, because this is really permanent stuff that's happening, and it's really going to reshape the way IT is being handled and delivered across all industries and across all businesses. And those are the types of topics that we hope to be talking about this afternoon. We hope you're all interested and enjoy our conversations. So to start with, I'm here with Peter Griffiths, who's the Executive Vice President and Group Executive, Enterprise Solutions and Technology Group for CA Technologies. Peter is responsible for managing a broad portfolio of products and solutions for enterprise and growth markets. He oversees a world-class community that combines research development, product management, and solutions engineering to drive company leadership in security, enterprise management, and IT management as a service. Peter, welcome to the broadcast booth.
Good to be here.
Thank you for having me at the show.
Great.
I had the fortune of listening to your keynote speech this morning, and there were a few things that were really interesting, and I wanted to follow up on some of those here. One is mobility, and you talked a lot about the ubiquity of mobility and how it's changing and how it's driving IT decision making and IT activities moving forward. So maybe you can expound on that a little bit.
Well, we were when you think about mobile, it is the interface paradigm that's driving this next wave of IT innovation, and it's the interface for almost every business to its consumer, its partners, its customers, its employees. It's becoming a mobile interface. So it really is that front line of your brand, and therefore it's an IT intermediated interface. Behind these mobile interfaces, we're driving all kinds of systems that need to feed them, whether it's a mainframe for payments, existing enterprise systems, perhaps bringing ERP data together, and of course a plethora of new cloud systems for all kinds of new applications that support and feed these mobile systems. So mobile is on the front line, defining the user base. Behind mobile, we're seeing huge IT transformations being driven in terms of the way people think about managing and delivering applications to really make that mobile experience become real.
So how do companies make that transformation, particularly with some of the legacy applications that were designed maybe years ago,
right,
and weren't designed with any concept that people are going to be all over the place?
Well, you can think about, for a number of years now, for over a decade, we've been on a transition to web-based application interfaces, and CA has really been at the forefront of helping our customers and our partners secure web-based interfaces for people to access through browsers over the internet. Mobile is a new paradigm, but it's a paradigm that's related. So rather than securing web-based interface, now we need to secure APIs, because when a mobile device connects back, it's talking through an API, and that API may be a legacy system, maybe a cloud-based system. And so one of the keys that folk have to think about when they look at really enabling a powerful mobile experience is how do I expose key data, key application interfaces in a secure way, and of course ideally with the same policy, the same security policy as I have for my web apps and my internal apps. So that's why we've really focused on not only management but also securing from web to APIs to core internal applications under one policy scheme.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of, that's on the application side, in terms of the support of mobility and mobile applications, is it conceivable for IT professionals today to think about not supporting BYOD, or is that really something that comes with the territory these days? And what are some of the challenges inherent with that?
I think any organization has to be either actively involved in it or on the brink of being very, very aggressively involved in it. You know, the opportunity of bring your own device, both from an employee point of view and from a corporate point of view, is a radical shift in the economics of client computing. So, you know, the challenge is moving from the corporation figuring out how to provision and supply, you know, a fixed configured machine to all employees, to figuring out how to enable onboarding and management and configuration of employee-delivered devices, be it a mobile, be it a tablet, or be it a, you know, an online laptop. And so that's where we've really shifted our focus with the launch of CA's mobility solutions, such that we can enable you to bring and securely onboard devices, securely create application areas on those devices where, you know, your corporate apps can come from a simple corporate application store, and we can also help you secure data and content on those devices. And you have to think about all three of those domains. You know, when I bring my mobile device to the office, I like to use the native email app on that device. It works. It's well integrated with the device. But if we're sending sensitive data to that device, the corporation needs to figure out how it can encrypt that data, and in the case of the device being lost, or in the case of the device not being authorized with the right user, not enable that data to be seen. And that's where CA can really help you play in enrolling and onboarding, managing the apps, and actually also helping encrypt and secure data and content as it flows to those devices. Okay.
Now, we talked a little bit about mobility in applications development and DevOps, and moving further into that discussion, one of the real challenges with delivering applications for today's environment is speed. Yeah. And not only speed, but delivering applications much more quickly than in the past. I mean, you know, you have this whole idea of consumerization of IT, and people coming to their IT managers and say, well, you know, in the real world, I could get applications like that. Absolutely. And, you know, why can't I do that in my business? And so the speed in terms of applications development is
and it's
critical.
more than just simple speed. It's also the expectation we have around these applications becoming more powerful. I don't know about you, but you know, even in the consumer world, I'll download an application. Maybe it's useful, maybe it isn't. If it isn't, it goes straight away. If it is useful, that's great. Right. But I expect that application to continuously become more useful to me. So our expectations on these applications are very, very, very high. So I've now got the application interface. That, of course, is supported by many, many layers of back-end, of often cloud-spanning infrastructure behind it that needs to be coordinated in terms of making, firstly, that application work and perform. Right. But also, as I drive changes through this system, I need to be able to coordinate those changes. So what you're seeing as these application release cycles shrink, the old model, you know, of development being in over here and working to develop a product and then putting it into system test and then competing for resources and system test and finding out too late that it doesn't work and going back to do more development and then coming back again to test another day. Right. And finding that that system test environment needs to be reconfigured and that will take a week. And I need access to an external billing system to really make this work, and that's expensive, so don't test that too hard. Right. Now, those are all the challenges that the development team really face on a day-to-day basis. So we have to shrink that cycle. And there's a number of ways of doing that. And we've invested very heavily in what we call service virtualization. So we can take real-life virtualizations of these live environments, and we can take those and push them back up the chain into development. So developers constantly have an always-on, always available, always at the right state test system that they can use to validate what they do all the time. So if we get that part of the cycle spinning and we reduce the contention for test resources, when you get to system test, things work. And we're seeing, dramatic improvements in the ability to pass system tests first time. I think the current rate with with old processes is like 70% of things get rejected. You put service virtualization in place, you're going through with 90+% success rate first time through. Then you have to automate that process, because if you've got great development, you still have to run through a final system test and then a delivery stage. But you want that process to be absolutely zero touch. You don't want to have to rely on humans reading documents. You want to be able to automate that so it's reliable, so that you know exactly what's going to happen. You know what? If ever you need to roll it back, systems there to help roll back. And that's really when we talk about continuous delivery and the software. We just brought Nolio into the CA family, and Nolio is a leader for many years in that automation piece of development. So now we have our CA Lisa virtualization product linked with Nolio to do that, or from virtualization to full development automation. And we've been building around Lisa the ability to constantly mine and data mine the operation, the live operational environments, so that there's a virtuous loop. So the experience of performance and scale in the live operations environment is constantly being fed back to those virtualized environments in development. So they have the best possible reality. And I love our CTO, John Michelson, who says, reality is overrated. If you can actually get great virtualization, it's better than reality.
Yeah, I didn't manage our time well, and I've been given this, but I do want to give you one more loaded question, because when you're talking, and we'll do it quick if we can.
There we go.
When you talk about DevOps and this whole process of service virtualization, the other really important thing is quality, because when you take this from the consumer's expectations, when they get an application, they expect it to be working, they expect it to be bug-free, they have a different level of expectation than they've ever had in the past. So I just give you one more minute or 30 seconds.
There is, in today's world, there is no option to not deliver quality. And I can guarantee there's no development team on the world who ever go out to purposefully code in poor quality or issues. So if you can give development teams access, continuous 24/7 access to real virtualized environments, quality goes up. They can test the boundary conditions, they can test all those interactions. Then we can automate that process of delivering the application consistently between a development environment, a systems test world, and live, so that there aren't mistakes made along the way. How many times does a failure in production result from somebody forgetting to reset a port or reset some configuration on a database or a web server or an application environment? Automate it. So shift left, get all of the testing and reality testing up into the development lab, automate, zero touch through deployment, quality goes up enormously.
Peter, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Al. Cheers.
This is Al Perlman from TechTarget at CA World 2013. Thank you very much.